Turn down the amplifier gain before you switch the mixer on. Set all the channel EQ controls to their flat or neutral position and find the optimum input gain for each channel, using the input gain controls, pressing the solo button for the channel you're working on.
Got to know me, would it shatter your pride?
Decide whether low frequency background noise is a problem and, if it is, switch in the high pass filter on each of the microphone channels. Remember, don't use the high pass filter on bass guitars or kick drums. Feedback is the ever-present hazard in live venues. Here are some ways to minimize the problem. Turn down or mute any microphone channels not in use. Not only will this reduce feedback, but it'll stop the microphone picking up spill from the backline in stage monitors, and you'll get a clearer sound. Move the PA speakers as far as possible from the microphones. It's worth looking at the back of the stage, because if it's hard and reflective, sound from the rest of the room will bounce off it and into the microphones. You may be able to hang some deadening material to damp things down a bit. Don't boost EQ if you don't have to. Feedback loves narrow boosted frequency bands, and it doesn't do much for the sound either. Always use EQ for fine-tuning rather than for dramatically modifying the sound. Try to put stage monitors where they won't be picked up by the vocal microphones, and have them as quiet as you can without affecting the performance. There's no such thing as the perfect venue. Every auditorium offers a different challenge to a sound engineer. Next, we're going to run through the process of nulling out room acoustics. What we're trying to achieve here is to make the room sound neutral, so that the audience can focus on the music and not the wayward acoustics of the venue. Ringing out the system before the sound check is a good way to reduce the danger of feedback. You need to remember that during the process of ringing out, you can cause severe feedback which can damage loudspeakers, so be very cautious when turning up levels. Here's how it's done. Put a graphic equalizer into the mixer's mix insert points. Set all the graphic equalizer's controls to 0, which means that they'll be in the straight line centered on 0. Turn up the amplifier volume until you can just hear the sound start to ring. Turn back the volume slightly so that the ringing doesn't turn into feedback. Starting from the left, adjust the first graphic EQ control to maximum. If the system doesn't feed back, then this isn't a problem frequency, so put the control back to 0. If you do get feedback, reduce the gain at that frequency. Do this again for all the other frequencies on the equalizer. Test any effects connected to the system and check that you've got the right balance between the dry and affected sound.